Hey, welcome back to Guns Up Review. It's January. It's time to clean up after our harvest this fall. We've got some deer here that we killed this year, and we're going to try something new. We're going to try to do a European mount on Dad's buck, and I think I'll just do a traditional like antler mount on my bow season buck here. And so if you want to know how to do a European mount, stay tuned and maybe we can show you how to do it. Alright, to pull this off, you're going to need a couple things. Number one, a little bit of Dawn dishwashing soap, a big pot with some water, and some kind of a turkey cooker or your barbecue grill or some way to bring this to a boil. Don't do this inside because the smell might be, it might get you a divorce. You're also going to need to go to your local beauty supply place and get some of this 40 volume. It's 40% by volume hydrogen peroxide cream. It's a developer. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this at the end of the process to turn that skull into a kind of a snow white skull. So what we're going to do is we've got the deer. I'm going to try and keep the blood and gore to a bare minimum here, but this skull is complete, and the hide has been stripped off of it. The lower jaw has been removed, and so all it is a head with the meat on it. So just think about this as like you're boiling some spare ribs or something at the house. You're just boiling this meat until it gets a little bit firm and it starts to fall off the bone, and that's the idea. After it starts to fall off the bone, we're gonna pressure wash the meat off of it and hopefully have just a clean skull. So the first step is we're gonna take this deer and we're going to get the skull just covered with water. We're going to put some Dawn and a little bit of borax dishwashing soap in here. And we're going to put it on the barbecue grill down there with the gas burner. And we're going to bring it to a simmer, and we're going to let it simmer for about 2 hours. Not a heavy rolling boil, but just a light simmer. So let's go see what that looks like. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to try and protect the antlers as best we can. When we're boiling them, we don't want all that to discolor the antlers. And so what I'm going to do is right at the burr on the bottom of the antlers, I'm going to wrap that with electrical tape. We're going to put foil around it. I've seen people put saran wrap around it, but when you put saran wrap or shrink wrap around it and you boil it, it really shrinks to the antler and it's hard to get off there. And so we're going to do aluminum foil and then completely wrap that with electrical tape up to about where the brow tines are, just to protect that so that the color stays fast. So that's what I'm going to do next. Alright, so right before I add the water, I'm going to put a little borax in there. Y'all know what borax looks like. If you have it, it always gets hard on you. And then a little bit of Dawn, and then we'll cover it with water. Once it's covered with water, let's go boil it. You're going to have to watch this and make sure that the water doesn't boil off above the head. Make sure you keep it covered at all times. Now we just need to wait. All right, so I hope it got done. I hope. We ran out of gas, so cooked it about an hour and a half. Let's get out the pressure washer, see if we get this meat off of here. I do have a hot water. I have some old antlers up there with some hide still on it that never got taken off, and it's hard as a rock. Gonna go ahead and soak those too while I'm here, and I got some hot water. The Dawn in the water is to break up the grease, the fat. There's a lot of fat on these skulls. behind the eyes, around there, and in the brain cavity. And so that Dawn, that grease soap will break that up and keep it from soaking into the bone. That's why you have to use that. Let's see if we can rinse this off now. Okay, it didn't take very much picking until I decided that that wasn't going to work. And so I put this back in the water and let it boil for another hour and a half, okay? You should start seeing the meat start to separate from the bone, especially like the roof of the mouth will just peel away. And then this meat around the eyes and around the back of the neck here will start to wash away easier with a pressure washer. A pressure washer is the way to go, but you don't want it on direct nozzle. You want it on a medium fan, okay? And you come in and you can blast all this away. Now, one thing you got to be careful of are these sinus cavities here, and then the nose. These bones right here on the nose are very, very fragile. You hit those with a pressure washer, you're going to break them off. But really, you shouldn't have to. Once you boil it, you should be able to grab the cartilage here on the nose and just pull it away and done. You'll have to take a screwdriver and kind of pry away in the brain cavity, get all that loose. But other than that, I think it came out pretty good. As you can see, it's nice and clean, inside and out, and really pleased with how this came out. So the next step is we're going to put the developer on this and we're going to whiten this. So what we're going to do is brush the developer on, wrap it in saran wrap, let it sit, and then rinse that off. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we're going to put the developer on with this paintbrush, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to get any developer up here above the burr onto your antlers because it will discolor it. So make sure when you're painting that you stay just on the skull. We're going to paint everything generously, and then we're going to wrap it in saran wrap and then keep it moist and let it set and let it do its thing for about 45 minutes or so. Then we'll take it off, rinse it, see if it didn't whiten it up. It's not bad now, but we'll see if we can get it a little bit whiter. All right, if you stuck around with us this far, what you want to see now is what do you do now that you have your skull whitened and you've got it all cleaned up? What do you do with it now? How do you display it? I think what we're going to do is on where the spinal cord goes through the skull here, at the base of the skull. This is a 5/8 inch oak dowel we've cut to about, oh, it's about 7 inches long. And what we're going to do is insert it until it bottoms out in the back. Now it's got 3 points of contact and it's real sturdy there, okay? And if you have the bar horizontal, it sits with just about the right amount of kick out so that this plane here where the back of the antlers are, where it's going to sit up against your wall, is straight up and down. So with that bar straight out, now we can mount this to whatever we want, any kind of plaque we want. All we have to do is drill a 5/8 hole in there and you're good to go. So what I'm going to do is, with this in here, I've drilled one small hole right here in the low point. The bone's really thick right here. I'm also going to drill that same hole into this dowel rod and then insert a little screw with a washer there, and that should keep it from spinning on that dowel. Don't over tighten it, you'll break your skull in half. Now look at there. If I can hold this guy, and it is sturdy. It doesn't wiggle around at all. It's got 3 points of contact with that screw in it right there. Man, I'm good to go. So 5/8. So I think what we're going to do is just drill a hole in this old piece of barnwood. Won't that look cool? Piece of barnwood on there, and then mount that to the wall. Obviously, it's too long. We're going to shorten it up a little bit. All right, we got our hole drilled all the way through our board. A piece of barnwood here. And then we'll insert this. It's a really tight fit. And then I'll put one more screw down through the back of it just to keep it from spinning on the board. But what do you think? That's what it's going to look like. And I've got it sticking out a little bit. I can bring this more closer to the board. I can stick it through there a little bit more if we want to, and then just cut it off on the back of the board. But anyway, and you can do that with any plaque you want. So there you go. There's your European mount, skull mount whitetail, and I hope that hope you learned something. I know I certainly did doing this, and we'll see you next time here on Guns Up Review.
Yeah. Big old deer.
All right, favorite thing?
Orioles? What?
Favorite thing?
This right here, hunting
This
with
right here.
Glenn.